So I got to tell you, before we start, I'm actually losing sleep over you. And this...
You're not the first person, and you're not the last.
All right. Well, let me fade down the music. My wife's like, "Why are you awake? It's 3 a.m.
Because of Krisha.
It's the Krisha and Frank show. Good morning. Hello. Good afternoon. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Krisha Brook.
And this is the program. So it's episode 4. It's, what is it? It's Thursday. And so much has happened since yesterday's episode.
So, just mind-bogglingly so much.
It feels supernatural to me, and maybe that's why I'm losing sleep over the podcast. I'll say it's over you because it's funnier.
Yeah.
But I'm just a quiver with excitement over.
Ooh, a quiver.
Yeah, with the podcast. So Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing it. I love it.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing it.
And thank you for watching, because last week here's what happened. The basic story is maybe 2 weeks ago, Krisha calls me up and says, "Hey, I've been through a lot in my life. You've been through a lot in your life. We both have this gap in our schedules. I mean, you're actually busier than I am.
I've got some busy going on.
You got 2-3 jobs.
Yeah.
And I don't.
notice heavy. Yeah.
And I do not. So I'm writing a book about my past lives. That's why I'm wearing my KLOS shirt today, because I'm in that mindset of writing about some of the weird things from KLOS. And then I pulled this out of the closet, and I realized this is the worst logo in the history of KLOS.
It's really bad. We
had a female general manager named Maureen Lesourd, who was a lovely woman. She used to beat the pants off us in Washington, D.C. When she had the competition. She was in charge of Q107, and I worked for WAVA. So now we're both working for the same company in L.A. She's my boss. But she decides that the hard rock KLOS, 95.5 KLOS, that the logo is too masculine.
Well, she fixed that. If you're just listening, I will describe it. It's
a rainbow flag.
It looks like a pill.
Yeah.
It looks in the shape of a pill with the logo, the station.
But the classic KLOS logo, which they've gone back to.
Right.
In fact, there's a bit on the KLOS website. I think you can still do this. I think you can type in your name.
Right, and that's awesome.
And have your bumper sticker if your name was on it, like they do with rock bands.
And
like
that's
they would
cool.
Put, Red Hot Chili Peppers, or more likely it would be Led Zeppelin.
Right.
That kind of
Steely
thing.
Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the soft version of the KLOS logo.
It's very
that
90s.
Didn't last.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the only shirt I have. I worked there in the 90s.
But you're losing sleep because much has
yes,
happened.
exactly. So I'm trying to write this book. You call me up and say, let's do a podcast again. And I'm like, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I am bursting with ideas of ways to do things. And then we talked it over, and we said, okay, here's what we're going to do. So we said, we're going to do a podcast, and we're going to have a mid-roll commercial, because that's what people do.
Right.
You can make tens of dollars.
And we were joking about it.
I wasn't.
Well, I mean, when we talked about it.
Well, in episodes 1, 2, and 3, we did joke commercials. For episode 1, we did a commercial for the Krisha and Frank show. Episode 2, we did a commercial for Bone Zones. Don't forget the S. And episode 3, Oak Ridge Playhouse. Oak Ridge Playhouse. Today, Thursday. This show is sponsored by Hutch and Howard Real Estate.
Yeah, hutchandhoward.com. We'll talk about them in a little while.
Yeah, but we have an actual sponsor. I mean, I have to put the thing on YouTube now that says includes sponsored content.
Yeah, which, hello. And we hit over 500 likes on Facebook.
Which I didn't expect.
In less than a week.
Right. Well, I didn't open the Facebook page until Friday, the day after we did the podcast, maybe. Yeah, maybe something along those lines.
We are on the podcast porch. If you're just figuring out this podcast, we are on the podcast porch. And
wildlife.
Yeah, there's wildlife, and it's pretty.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Then I put a thing on my social media saying, hey, I need a little help. And my friends at Marble City Opera put the same thing out today.
Right.
Or yesterday, saying we need 100 likes on YouTube, because you have to get to 100 likes on YouTube if you want to be able to start doing anything with your YouTube channel.
Right.
So I just needed 101. Please, can I get to 101? I put that out there Friday morning.
In less than 12 hours.
Yeah, when we were at 100 by lunchtime.
Yeah.
We were most of the way to 200 by the end of the day, and now we're at,
You guys are awesome.
So thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching it on YouTube, because we're getting these great comments.
Yeah. And now I have to worry about what I'm wearing and what I look like I got holes in my sweater.
I thought that was your Flashdance shirt.
I mean, it kind of is. Was actually my kids.
You know where that would look great would be at Hatfield and McCoy. With the air holes in the exact right space.
And they're in the right. They're in the right. Well,
for the granny in Hatfield and McCoy, they're in the right space.
one grad low.
So that's the excitement. I'm losing sleep over this. So I'm trying to figure it all out, trying to learn on the go, to get the podcast posted each night,
right,
to get the video posted each morning,
which we're figuring out because I recorded all of our videos in HD, which I
previously the first three. Yeah.
I made 3 gig videos.
That's a lot.
So that's a big bid.
So this morning, I should have taken a Tylenol PM last night. I intended. I said I'm going to go to bed and take a Tylenol PM because
I call that wine.
Okay, maybe I should have done that. Maybe I should have taken a shot of Rock and Rye. But I was so exhausted. I was busy yesterday and had a full day yesterday. Right. So I thought, this is great. I'm going to go to bed. It was like 10, 11 o'clock.
Oh, bless.
And I'm out until 3. And then I'm like, I wonder if that high def video is finished transferring from Krisha to me.
And
I'm going to check. And then I'm like, oh, I better start downloading it. So then, for an hour,
your brain just like,
no, the video is downloading for almost an hour.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, now I have to import it into the editing software. So I worked on it until 7.
Yeah, and I got here at exactly. I was so proud. I opened the door as it clicked up to 9, and I was like, yeah,
right on time, good. And I'm like running and going, it finally finished posting to YouTube, because we have to use the same iPad to go to YouTube and to
because our
record
equipment
the show.
Is super fancy.
We're
getting there.
Well, eventually we'll be able to buy stuff. So that's what I'm talking about this on episode 1, right?
Right.
I'm talking about how we need to, sell some ads, buy some things. And then our friends at Bone Zones call up and say, well, we'll sponsor a show. So they're going to sponsor tomorrow's show.
Yeah. and it just keeps happening. And Frank and I both are so eternally full of gratitude and amazement. And we're kind of pinching ourselves a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of cool, though.
I know. And my daughter and my family members are all like, you noticed all this stuff started happening when Mom died, right?
Oh, wow.
Like laying a little more pressure on me,
Wow. I mean, but I'm optimistically pessimistic. That's the way that I operate in the world.
You have to be realistic about it. Well, can't get your hopes up too high, because it's all about how much work you do, not just luck. Right.
It's not. And like I just sometimes I want to just be optimistic and be like, oh, float on clouds. And a lot of people assume that I'm that way, but I am not. Most of the time I expect everything. I imagine and envision a worst case scenario of every single thing that possibly could happen. So that
actually is a strong leadership quality. They said Abraham Lincoln was a depressed pessimist, and because there's 2 types.
No, and I laugh because it's like depressed pessimist.
Well, there's also a famous case study, same book, where they talk about I think 2 of the prime ministers in England. One is Winston Churchill, who also had that bad attitude, that pessimism, and the other I think it was Neville Chamberlain, and whoever, it doesn't matter. There were 2 prime ministers. It was Churchill and then another guy and then Churchill again. And Churchill was a fantastic wartime prime minister, like Lincoln was a fantastic wartime president,
right?
Because he was a pessimist and he foresaw the worst, so he was prepared, and he took strategy to prevent what he foresaw as the worst.
I mean,
but he was a terrible peacetime prime minister, because he saw the worst in everything. So Chamberlain, great peacetime, I think it was Chamberlain, anyway, you can Google it. Other guy, great peacetime prime minister, terrible wartime prime minister.
Just I don't know, what's the worst that can happen?
So that's the quick roundup. And we actually today we were talking about your daughter.
Yeah.
Because there's
some big life going on.
She's big now. She's getting
almost
a car,
16.
driver's license, and things, and what's gonna happen?
Watch out, world. I mean,
Miss Hanah,
a version of me out there.
So she's the one who's performing and acting, and
they both are.
Oh my, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's do the commercial for our pals at Hutch and Howard, and then we'll come back in the second half of the show. This is the mid-roll point of the show, so that if you're buying a mid-roll live read,
this is what you get.
This is it.
I've actually worked with Rob at Hutch and Howard about a year and a half ago looking for a rental. I was looking for a house to rent locally, and he was so great in just pointing me in the right direction to other people that he works with at Hutch and Howard to say, hey, what do you have? What do you have?
Well, he said that of his realtors, I almost said it wrong.
Yeah.
Caught myself.
Realtors.
Of his realtors on staff, he lives downtown.
Mm-hmm.
His partner, Brandon Hutchison, lives in Farragut. He's got people in Morristown, Maryville, Powell. So really, anywhere you want to go, he's got people who are part of that community and know the community, which is very nice.
And this is, it's right now, what they're saying, it's a great buyer, great seller, great buyer market.
It depends on what you're talking about. Right now, a lot of people are moving to Tennessee. So if you're watching this from somewhere else and you're like, hey, I got to get out of KLOS land and move to a state with no state income tax. That's a lot of the reasons people come here is because there's no state income tax.
Yeah, yet.
Yeah, well, who knows what's going to happen? Well, for right now.
Yeah, right now.
But also you have all of the other wonderful parts of it. I mean, look at this. Today is a kind of a schnoggy, as my mom used to say, cloudy day, but it's still, we're having a wonderful time outdoors. I live in a nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
All the good things. So.
And if you go to their website, hutchandhoward.com, you can peruse all of the houses that they have. And frankly, we were looking, and you can buy land for $30,000. You can buy a $1.1 million house.
That's what they sold.
That.
Okay.
Let's do that.
The $30,000 plot of land?
$1.1 million big old goodness.
Down at Choto Marina, they just sold that.
That's amazing.
Sorry, it's been sold.
Dang it.
Rob Howard sold the $30,000 empty lot, and he sold the $1.1 million house in Choto with how many square feet?
I don't know.
Oh, it's 9,000 square feet.
I could live. I could live in I could live in 800 square feet. In fact, I'm living in 800 square feet.
All right. Well, I think what we need to do is hit the Hutch and Howard jingle.
Oh yeah, Dean the artist. He's so great.
All right, and we'll wrap it up. Oh, here.
If you're buying or selling your home, trust a professional, don't do it alone. From the sunflower field to the Sunsphere Tower, there's a knowledgeable name. It's Hutch and Howard.
There you go.
It's Hutch and Howard.
Oh, it's a trick. How about that, huh?
Yeah.
All right, that's the commercial.
865-966-5005.
Part of Keller Williams Realty, each office independently owned and operated. And now back to the Frank and Krisha show. No, I said it wrong. And now back to I had a show over the summer that was the Frank and Kira show.
Right.
And it didn't last, but I finally got that in my head.
It's okay.
So, but I'll have you, if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
I did on that show.
Yeah.
Say it's the Krisha and Frank show.
Okay, good.
And she looked at me like,
excuse me.
So yeah, it's the Krisha and Frank show, and we're on your Apple. I got notified that we made it to Google Podcasts, many of the platforms, and of course on YouTube.
Yeah. So my daughter Hanah will be 16 in November. She was going today to get her learner's permit. We're a little late on the learner permit thing.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No. But I
think my kids were late getting theirs too, because what was the rush?
Yeah. But, she's been practicing driving around the neighborhood, and she's very good driver.
Who's the better parent for riding with the child?
I am.
Okay. That's interesting, because in my relationship, my wife was the one who was slamming her foot on the floor to hit the imaginary brake.
James gets car sick, so any lurch forward or lurch in the reverse, it does not go well.
Do you practice in a off-road place?
We practice in a Catholic church parking lot.
Those are the best kind.
They are.
That's where my kids also practiced, coincidentally. Different Catholic church, I think, because we did the one close to our house. You did the one close to their house. But yeah, all right.
Yeah. So at one moment, there's pastor or priest parking, and she made the joke. She was like, she was curving around. There's no other car in this parking lot, and she saw the sign, and she was making a turn, and she was like, oh, it makes me scared, because what if I just accidentally hit the sign? I'm like, sorry, sir, I have to now confess that I killed your sign.
Well, she would be right about that. It would be a confessable sin.
But with the excitement of getting her learner permit, she's almost 16. She's in marching band, and she has had a boyfriend.
I know you've told me what she plays,
She plays trumpet.
but I forgot. Okay. Trumpet.
She is in jazz band, marching band. She's fantastic, Hanah. But
I think Maestro Fellenbaum's wife plays trumpet in the symphony and might even be a professor of that.
Really?
At UT.
she
Sarah Fellenbaum.
She loves it. She loves it. And
So, see, I'm old because when I was a kid, the women played strings and the men played brass.
right. And women played clarinet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't forget
Yeah.
the clarinet and flutes and piccolos.
Oboe.
Oboe.
Mozart in the Jungle, baby, right there.
Gosh, I love that show. But she went through her first breakup.
Not with the car.
No, with the boyfriend. And they're so...
Poor dear.
But can we just acknowledge how grown up the generation of my children are? Because she was very upset and very sad. They're in band together. He's a percussionist in band. He's a year older than she is.
He's always behind her.
Always
So
behind
she doesn't
her.
have to look at him.
Right?
Okay, that's one positive. You can tell her that.
He's such a good, sweet boy, and he's very good to her, and he's very smart. And she said, well, I'm sad now. And they sat down to discuss their relationship. They decided that they're
16.
not even 16, that they want to continue to be friends, and they share a lot of friend group, and they don't want animosity, and just so advanced.
See, I think the first date I ever went on was when somebody fixed me up to go to the senior prom with their kind of homely friend.
As it sounds.
Oh wow. I was working at Baskin Robbins, and the girls I worked with, they all had boyfriends.
That person might still exist out there in the world that you just called the homely friend.
Well, I'm sure she's grown into a beautiful woman from where she started. But,
how is it you're the bad one on this show? How is that possible?
No, it's wrong. But my point is, she was lonely. Maybe I meant lonely. That might have been what I meant.
Is that what you meant?
Might have been.
I don't know if that's much
possible.
better.
It's
not where
slightly,
you started. You started at homely. Now you're going to lonely.
So they bring her over to Baskin Robbins,
Uh-huh.
so I can meet her. And I'm sure I made her a sundae or something delicious. And they said, because we're all going. Our friend, they all go to the same all-girls Catholic high school, and I went to the all-boys Catholic high, one of the many all-boys Catholic high schools in this area in suburban New York. And she needs a date for the girls' school prom, whatever it was, Mary Queen of the whatevers, I can't remember. And I need a date for the boys' school prom, because you have to go to 2 proms.
Oh, because, as if it's not bad enough.
Right.
Do you wear different clothes?
I don't think so, because, it's not, you see some of the same people, but not,
Right.
It's not 100% overlap.
Right.
And I would have on a tuxedo anyway.
Right.
So it didn't matter. I rented the same tuxedo either twice, or if the proms were the same, I probably rented it and rented it again.
Right.
Yeah. I remember going to an after party that was on my same street. And it was, I'm not exactly a party animal.
I mean,
but my dad commented.
You can cut quite a rug.
Oh, yeah, sure. My dad commented that he saw me out his bedroom window walking home at sunrise, and he said that I looked exactly the same as when I had left. He said, you looked, your tuxedo, he made the whole point of this. He said, your tuxedo was still perfect. And I thought it was a compliment. I still, I had the tie, the cummerbund, the jacket.
Right.
I looked like
at
5, 6 in the morning, walking home from this all-night rager. I looked exactly the same as when I had gotten in the limo and.
Hey, give me a seltzer water, see? And, we'll throw a lime in there and juice it up or something.
And this is, we rent a limo.
I just talked like it was 1940 when you were there.
Sure, that's I think that's when it was.
Okay.
Did you see It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah, I did.
What
are you telling me, George?
Yeah, Alfalfa opened up the gym floor, but I avoided falling in the pool. All right.
Get it together.
That's our Thursday show.
Well, my advice to Hanah, and I'll just go ahead and pass this along. Whatever pain that you feel when you lose love or you lose a friendship or you lose a person means that you were doing it right.
Okay.
If you
So, therefore, I was doing it wrong because I didn't feel anything when I moved away. I was like, oh, well.
Right. And you're doing it right. If you're sad and you carry a little bit of pain, you're loving correctly and everything ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
like this show.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching episode 4 of the Krisha and Frank podcast.
Tomorrow's Friday.
And for listening. I'm trying to get those audio files on Podbean by midnight so that they'll get to your various podcasting apps by the time you get up in the morning. Although my daughter waits, she listens at midnight.
That's hilarious.
12:01. She's like, I got the new episode.
Well, she's got 1,000 kids, so she never sleeps.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's
so
so
Krisha
awesome.
and Frank, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those things.
Thanks so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Or you'll see us tomorrow, because that's how it works.
Okay, bye.